Hola and welcome once again to Hola America TV on WQPT, your PBS station. Thank you for joining us once again as we explore the sights and sounds of the Hispanic community here in the Midwest. My name is Natalie Zeroni. I'm a reporter for CBS 4 News here in the Quad Cities and also your host. Today is February 14th and it's Valentine's Day. And on today's show, we bring you a special report on a very special couple. Also, for those of us who may not have a special one on Valentine's Day, some ideas about volunteering at your local animal shelter where you can share some of the joy of Valentine's Day. Also on today's show, we have an interview with Becky Garcia from Fruitland, Iowa. She's one of the actors in the acclaimed film My Sister's Quinceañera that's participated in film festivals all over the world and the United States. The film had their world premiere last year at the Rotterdam International Film Festival, and last summer it was featured at the Landlocked Film Festival in Iowa City, where it won the award for Best Narrative Feature. Director Aaron Douglas Johnston, a native of Muscatine, Iowa, was nominated for the Someone to Watch Award at the 2014 Film Independent Spirit Awards. We'll also bring you the news briefs and the Que Pasa community calendar that will cover some of the current events of our community. As always, we invite you to join the conversation on our Facebook page, Hola America News, or on Twitter. There you'll find more pictures, extended interviews, and more exclusive material. And please visit our remodeled website with a fresh new look, and now it's updated 3 times a week so you can keep up with what's happening in our community in Iowa and Illinois. So first, here's a special story for Valentine's Day.
It's the classic girl meets boy story. They fall in love, marry, and raise a beautiful family. But what makes Margaret and Michael Cervantes' story so special is that 70 years later, their love for each other is still strong.
We met, as well as I can remember, we met at a dance. The year I can't remember, the age I might remember better, which would be probably we're about 17 years old. I think the thing that has really been the longest lasting thing about the both of us is that we have so many things in common that we enjoy each other because we can work together, play together, whatever, and maybe that has been the most important thing. Well, we have 4 children. All are still living, and we have 2 boys and 2 girls. We had a boy and a girl, and then there was 9 years that we didn't have any more children, and then we had another boy and a girl. Our 2 sons are married, and each of them have a boy and a girl. If we were to say, well, what has been important, I would say it is like this for both of us. It's faith, family, and community, and probably what happens here, country would be the last one.
Margaret and Michael got married in 1943, but soon after, he had to leave overseas to fight in World War II. Michael and his 4 brothers enlisted to fight for our country, and his mother, whom Michael credits for his moral fiber, made a special trip to Mexico to pray to La Virgen de San Juan de los Lagos for the safe return of her 5 sons.
And fortunately, they all came back. We all came back. We were all in action, and as a matter of fact, I came back, and I can't remember how many campaigns I was in, but my discharge paper showed that I was involved in 4, I have 4 battle stars. That means that, they were shooting at you for 4 battle stars. And when we came back, my mother said, we're going to Mexico. I was thinking, oh boy, that's good. We're going on vacation. We're going to see my relatives down there. She said, no. And then she explained to us that she had gone to San Juan de los Lagos, and I have to go back and pay that manda. We got to the church, and it's quite a ways from the church to the front door. And my sister Mary, who was the youngest of my sisters, said, looked at me when we got up there to the doors of the church. She said, "I hope you boys appreciate that when you were overseas, my mother brought us here to pray that you would come back safely, and we had to come from that front entrance of the church on our knees all the way up here to the door." And I said, "Mary, we're here. It must have worked."
When asked what have been some of the special memories him and Margaret have shared through the years, he's quick to mention their travels overseas and one very special trip 10 years ago to the dedication of the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C.
In later years, you know, when I had retired and I was still able to do some things financially, I think that and I'm sure she enjoyed it too, was to travel. We went back to the beaches of Normandy where I was during the war. We went to Spain 3 times because that's where the Cervantes family originated. And we went to Spain, and we've been to Luxembourg. That was the country that I had not thought of. That we went through Luxembourg, Holland, Belgium, Germany, you know. And to be able to do those things, you know, when we were still healthy enough, I think for both of us that was a treat. We're invited to come to Washington, D.C. for the dedication of the World War II Memorial. And I got invited as an honoree. And I still have my tags. They give you special tags, and you got to go. That you're mentioning special. You know, there are a lot of things that are special. And maybe this was more special to me than for her. When I think of best friends, it's someone that you go to the ball game with, someone you go to the tavern and take a drink. Margaret was not my best friend. She's my partner.
Even though their life has been filled with many bright and joyful memories, many of those memories are gone for Margaret. You see, 8 years ago, Margaret was diagnosed with the early stages of dementia, and slowly her health has deteriorated. Nowadays, Michael has to get up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 in the morning just to get ready to get Margaret up at 3 so that by 5:15 a.m., with the help of their daughter, she can start her dialysis treatments that last a few hours each time. Despite their daily challenges, love is what keeps them strong in the face of adversity. And even though Margaret may not remember, a lot of her affection for Michael is still there. 70 years is a long time. But Margaret and Michael's love story still has a lot of chapters left.
Wow, what a special story for Valentine's Day. And if you have a lot of love to share, but not a special someone to share it with, volunteering at a local animal shelter, or better yet, adopting a pet is also a good option. I did a piece on Channel 4 a few weeks ago about a local shelter, and believe me, it was really hard not to bring home with me the adorable puppies that they had there.
Many people, young and old, feel lonely around the holidays, and with Valentine's Day around the corner, why not rescue a pet from a local animal shelter to bring some joy into your life and the life of the animal? Doris Lee from East Moline has been a widow for 18 years, and her home felt lonely, but that changed last year when she adopted a dog from a shelter in St. Louis. There are many local shelters where you can rescue a dog or a cat. You can visit our Facebook page for more information on the local shelters.
My name is Doris Lee. And my dog's name is Mackie, M-A-C-K-E-Y. When I got him, they called him Horace. And I didn't like Horace for that cute dog. So my granddaughter named him, really. And so his name is Mackie. He has changed my life entirely. This house was alone. My husband has been dead 18 years, and I don't know why I didn't get a dog sooner, you know. But he is such joy, you know, and when I come home, he runs up to me, and oh, it's a wonderful feeling, you know. Wintertime is kind of hard with walking, but we've figured that out too, so. You know, I couldn't ask for anything nicer than this dog. He has changed my life. I would recommend to people that they go to a shelter instead of you know, going out and buying a dog. Well, you buy them anyway. You pay some, but no, it's a wonderful thing to go and pick out a dog from so many and know that they like you. Picked him out of 100 dogs, and I knew he was mine because when I saw him, I said, "That's my dog." And he responded too. So it was a shelter, you know, a dog shelter.
Now we're going to introduce you to one of the stars of a film called My Sister's Quinceañera, Becky Garcia. Becky, thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you for having me here.
So tell me, how did you and your family get involved in this project?
Well, Aaron Johnson, the director of the film, came to Muscatine, which was originally his hometown, and was going to do an acting workshop. And he wanted some people to come, and he wanted Mexican Americans to come, Hispanics. And he asked people in the community who they would recommend. And I've always been active in the community. He had 8 people recommend me. So he got a hold of me and invited me to come to the workshop, and I went. And from there on, that's how it went.
So the story of My Sister's Quinceañera, is it based on your real life and your family?
It's close to reality. It's fictional, but has a lot of my real life in it. My daughter Samantha is the co-star in it, and I invited her on the second day to the workshop, and she got the second leading part in it. So, but yes, it's fictional, but it is based on a lot of my real life.
So you really are a single mom of 6?
Yes, I am.
Wow. Okay, perfect. And so how close would you say the movie is to real life?
It hit home pretty close. When I watched the film, I think of my son Lionel, who would play as Silas in the film. It made me cry a lot. It's true. It's a battle. He helps me out a lot. Without him, I didn't know what I would do. So, yeah.
Well, now we're going to show our audience the trailer for the movie so they can see for themselves.
We got 2 weeks to go. We have to get this done perfect. This is my Reina's night, and I don't want anything to mess it up, okay, everybody? Let's cheer for Elizabeth!
What do you like about here?
The cold winters, the hot summers.
Instead of that.
Yeah. Well, you have something right here.
Ah! No!
Yeah. You think you'll live here forever?
Yeah, I'm gonna get married here. So do you think you're gonna live here?
Probably not forever.
Why not?
I've done everything I need to here.
Quit fighting. Jacob! Sorry, this is trick, Cecilia. Jacob just bit her.
You told your mom you're gonna leave?
I haven't really told anyone.
El borracho.
Besides, if we move out, we'll probably end up back in Muscatine anyway. That's how it always is. People leave for a year or 2 and come back and then live here for forever. Maybe we'll be the first, you know?
There we go, double play.
Beautiful.
They're not catching.
If you think too long about it, your decision's pretty much gonna be made for you. You're gonna miss the start of school and you ain't gonna be able to go.
I'll miss you if you leave, you know.
So let me read just some of the accolades for this film. My Sister's Quinceañera had their world premiere last year as an official selection at the Rotterdam International Film Festival in the Netherlands. Huge honor. And last summer it was featured at the Los Angeles Film Festival and the Landlocked Film Festival in Iowa City, where it won the award for Best Narrative Feature. My Sister's Quinceañera was screened at the MoMA in New York in the program Best Film Not Playing in a Theater Near You. And the film won the special jury prize at New York No Limits Film Series Summit 2013. And then the director, Aaron Douglas Johnston, a native of Muscatine, was nominated for the Someone to Watch Award for the 2014 Film Independent Spirits Awards. So this is not just a film. This is a true independent film that has captured its audience, I mean, obviously, all over the world. Do you know when it will be available for people to watch on iTunes or something like that?
We were hoping it would come out this year. or last year I should say, and but it's doing so well in the film festivals, and until it's finished in that section, it won't come out. It won't be available until then.
So,
but hopefully this year.
It'll just keep getting awards, though. That's a good thing too.
Doing great. It's wonderful. It's doing really good.
And have you kept in touch with Aaron Douglas Johnson, the director?
We keep in touch by phone when he's in town. They come and visit him and the crew that did it. They've come back twice since then, and they've come to visit us at the house. And we've gotten to be close, and we keep in contact through Facebook. So yes, we do.
That's awesome that you've been able to build that relationship. So are you still doing acting? Are you still a student of acting?
After I did the film, I tried out for a play in college, and I got the leading part, so that was great too. That was fun.
What was it? What play?
It was called Slugs, and I was the supervisor of the law firm that I worked at in the play. It was fun.
That's awesome that you've been able to continue that. Well, thank you, Becky, and I can't wait to get a copy of whenever it comes out of My Sister's Quinceañera. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
United Township High School took advantage of the halftime during its varsity boys basketball showdown versus the Quincy Blue Devils by inducting its 1972 wrestling team into the United Township High School Hall of Fame this past Friday, February 7th. Former teammates embraced each other in the wall-covered room that houses the plaques of the school's previous inductees. Despite the Panthers' 44-41 loss to Quincy, the night was a win for the families on hand to celebrate this special night. Among the night's inductees was Mr. Rey Terrones, a native of East Moline. Thursday, February 6th, the city of Moline held a community open house at the Western Illinois University Quad Cities Riverfront campus. The open house focused on moving forward with the city's master plan regarding the revitalization of downtown Moline, as well as its plan for the Floreciente and Edgewater neighborhoods. A series of preliminary planning strategies were presented to the attendees, and questions were answered by city officials. For more information about the neighborhood master plan update efforts, go to www.molinecentered.com. This past Tuesday, February 11th, Governor Pat Quinn was joined by the Governor of the State of Mexico, Erubiel Avila, for a unique theatrical performance at the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum. Juarez and Lincoln have often been compared. Both came from humble origins, were self-taught, and fought for human rights. They served as presidents during the same period, during which they established a long-distance relationship. In 1861, Juarez dispatched his envoy, Matias Romero, to Springfield, Illinois, to extend official greetings to President-elect Lincoln.
Welcome, everyone. It's a special occasion on the eve of Abraham Lincoln's birthday, born in 1809, and tomorrow we'll commemorate his 205th birthday right here in his hometown of Springfield, Illinois. And it was very, very meaningful that back in 1861, more than 150 years ago, Matias Romero was sent by Benito Juarez from Mexico to here, Springfield, to visit with President-elect Abraham Lincoln.
How great is the desire that President Juarez has to maintain the most friendly intercourse with the government of the United States. The policy of the constitutional government of Mexico is founded upon the principles of liberty, progress, and justice. The same principles in the United States are followed. The rule of law and constitutional government. They kept us in a constant state of turmoil and used every crisis as an excuse for their increased control. However, this situation has now been completely resolved.
Romero delivered congratulations to Lincoln from Juarez and opened a dialogue about peace, understanding, and cooperation that could be beneficial for both nations. It led to a friendship through correspondence between Presidents Juarez and Lincoln. Governor Quinn has vowed to make Illinois the most welcoming state in the United States and has often noted the friendship between Juarez and Lincoln. Last year, Governor Quinn declared March 21st as Benito Juarez Day across Illinois. There are now 1.6 million people in Illinois of Mexican origin, about 1 in 8 Illinois residents. The Bracero program, which brought millions of Mexican guest workers to the United States, ended more than 4 decades ago. Current debates about immigration policy, including discussions about a new guest worker program, have put the program back in the news and made it all the more important to understand this chapter of American history. Yet while top U.S. and Mexican officials re-examine the Bracero program as a possible model, most Americans know very little about the program, the nation's largest experiment with guest workers. Indeed, until very recently, this important story has been inadequately documented and studied, even by scholars. The Bracero program grew out of a series of bilateral agreements between Mexico and the United States that allowed millions of Mexican men to come to the United States to work on short-term, primarily agricultural, labor contracts. From 1942 to 1964, 4.6 million contracts were signed, with many individuals returning several times on different contracts, making it the largest U.S. contract labor program. An examination of the images, stories, documents, and artifacts of the Bracero program contributes to our understanding of the lives of migrant workers in Mexico and the United States, as well as our knowledge of immigration, citizenship, nationalism, agriculture, labor practices, race relations, gender, sexuality, the family, visual culture, and the Cold War era. The Bracero program was created by executive order in 1942 because many growers argued that World War II would bring labor shortages to low-paying agricultural jobs. On August 4, 1942, the United States concluded a temporary intergovernmental agreement for the use of Mexican agricultural labor on United States farms, officially referred to as the Mexican Farm Labor Program, and the influx of legal temporary Mexican workers began. But the program lasted much longer than anticipated. In 1951, after nearly a decade in existence, concerns about production and the U.S. entry into the Korean conflict led Congress to formalize the Bracero program with Public Law 78. The Bracero program was controversial in its time. Mexican nationals desperate for work were willing to take arduous jobs at wages scorned by most Americans. Farm workers already living in the United States worried that Braceros would compete for jobs and lower wages. In theory, the Bracero program had safeguards to protect both Mexican and domestic workers. For example, guaranteed payment for at least the prevailing area wage received by native workers, employment for 3/4 of their contract period, adequate sanitary and free housing, decent meals at reasonable prices, occupational insurance at employer's expense, and free transportation back to Mexico at the end of the contract. Employers were supposed to hire braceros only in areas of certified domestic labor shortage and were not to use them as strikebreakers. In practice, they ignored many of these rules, and Mexican and native workers suffered while growers benefited from plentiful, cheap labor. Between the 1940s and mid-1950s, farm wages dropped sharply as a percentage of manufacturing wages, a result in part of the use of braceros and undocumented laborers who lacked full rights in American society.
We invite you to join the conversation and follow us on our Facebook page, Hola America News, or on Twitter. Let us know what you think about these interesting subjects. And don't forget to visit our newly remodeled website at www.holaamericanews.com. There you'll find more pictures, extended interviews, and more exclusive material. Next up is the Que Pasa calendar, a community calendar where you'll find the latest cultural events for you and your family to enjoy this week. And if your organization would like to feature their events in our Que Pasa calendar, please contact us through Facebook at Hola America News.
Time 7:30 p.m. You're invited to attend Latino Legislative Day on February 18th at the Iowa State Capitol. This is our day to learn about issues in the legislature that affect Latinos and for us to lobby our elected leaders to ensure they understand the issues that are important to us and are on our side. Your attendance is vital to impressing upon our elected leaders that the Latino community is a growing part of Iowa. The day will begin with breakfast from 7 to 9 a.m. in State Dining Room 15. Afterward, there will be several speakers, both elected leaders and civil rights activists. For more information, please contact Joe Henry at 515-208-7312, or you can email him at joehenry@iowalatinos.org.
It's time to say goodbye for tonight, but we would love to hear from you. So don't forget to connect with us through our Facebook page, Hola America News, or on Twitter at HATV with Natalie. And we are now on Instagram, where you will see exclusive pictures with our guests. And if you missed any of our previous shows, you can catch them on our YouTube channel, Hola America TV. So don't forget to tune in next week when we'll continue our journey of the sights and sounds of the Hispanic community here in the Midwest. Muchas gracias y buenas noches.